Hey guys! Welcome to Free Tutorial TV and Python tutorial for beginner. And in this video I'm going to show you what our iterators in Python and how to use iterators in Python, and at the end I am also going to show you how you can create your custom iterator class in Python. So let's get started and let's see. First of all, what is an iterator? But before that we need to understand what is iteration. So what is iteration? An act of going over a collection is called iteration. Now what kind of collections we are talking about? We have already seen some kind of collections like lists, tuple, dictionaries, sets and other kind of collections. Until now, what we have seen is we can use a for loop to iterate over a collection. So let's take an example. That I'm going to declare a collection which is list. In this case, and I'm going to just add some values inside the list. And once I declare the list, I can iterate over this list using a for loop. So let's say for I in the collection name, and then you can just write print here to print each and every value of this collection A. So this for loop iterate all with each and every element in the collection and then print the value using this print statement. Now let's talk about the iterators. So what is an iterator? Iterator is an object which can be used to iterate over a collection. Now this iterator object has two special methods. First is _A's core iter _A's. And second is _A's next _A's. So iterators have these two special methods. One is iter, and this method is going to get you the iterator. And then the next method is going to give you the next value using this iterator. Now collections like lists or dictionary or tuple are all iterable collections. That means we can iterate over them. And all these collection objects have our special method called iter, which is used to get that iterator from these collections. So let me show you. First of all, these two methods inside our collection. So when you use dir inbuilt function and give any collection as an argument here, when I press enter you will see a list of functions here. And when I scroll a little bit right here, you will see a special function which is iter. So all these collections like lists or dictionary or tuple have this iter method. And we can call this iter method to get the object of the iterator. And we can call this _A's iter method using our special method called iter without underscore in front and back of it. So let me just show you what I'm saying. So I'm going to declare a variable it which stands for iterator. And then I'm going to use our special method called iter without underscore. And this iter method is used to get that iterator. So I can just pass my collection here as an argument. And this iterator method is going to give me the iterator object of this collection, which I was talking about, which is _iter_A's cause. Let me just press enter. And now we have the iterator object. And this iterator object we can use to call all the values in that collection. So let's once again print the values of our A list. And this has these 6 values. And now I can use a special method called the next here to get the first value of this collection. So I'm going to just pass it, which is the iterator which we have got from this iter method. And then press enter and you will see it will print the first value of your list. Now once again many call this next using this it variable is going to give you the next value of the list. And when you call it again and again, it's going to iterate over your list and give you the values of list one by one. So let's get all the values. So this is the second last value, which is 9. And then at last it's going to print the last value, which is 7. Now at this point the director has iterated over all these 6 values. After that, when you call this next method once again over this it variable, then it's going to give you this exception where it says stop iteration. So when your iterator is exhausted, then it's going to give you the exception which is stop iteration. Now as I said, the collections like list, dictionary or you have this incredible object. That means we can use the for loop to iterate all these collections. So for loop uses the same iterator mechanism to iterate over all these elements of that collection. Now many times in your programming development career, you will have to write a class in order to iterate over some kind of collection. So let me show you how you can create your custom iterator class. So let me minimize this Python console and PyCharm and I will just command these two methods. So as I said, an iterator always have these two special methods. One is underscored. Underscore iter a score the underscore, and the second is underscore a score next underscore a's. So in order to create your own iterator class, you need to implement both these methods. So let's create an iterator class. And I'm going to just name my class as list iterator class. And in this list iterator class, first of all I'm going to define init method, and init method is going to take any type of list or any type of collection which is iterable. And then inside this init method I'm going to just call a self to create member variable here, and I'm going to name my member variable as ._a's list, and I'm going to just pass the value of a that's named this as list also. So we will be clear. So a list is equal to list. The second member variable which I want to create here is the index variable. So the second variable is the index variable, which is the index of the list or the collection. And let's give the initial value of this index. Now as I said, in order to create an iterator class you need to implement these two methods, which are underscore a score iter method. First of all, and in this method we are just going to return the value of self. So this underscore a score iter method is going to give you the iterator. And let's also implement the method which is underscored a's next. Now in this next method, first of all, when this next method is called, what we want to do is we want to increase the value of index. So let's call our index member variable, and let's increase the value of index by 1. And the next thing which we want to do here is we want to send the value at this index, so we can just return. So let me call return first of all, and then self.yourList, then whatever is your list. And then inside these square brackets we call the index which we have incremented by 1. So self underscore a score index. So this statement is going to give you the current value at this index right now. And that's basically it. So I'm going to just say my list is equal to list iterator. And this list iterator takes an argument, which is a collection, right? So let me create a list collection, and I'm going to name my list as A. And here I'm going to provide some values inside the list. So let's see if we have the 6 values inside the list. And now we can just pass this list as an argument of our list iterator. So once we have this list iterator object, we can call our iter method in order to get the iterator object, which is this one. So let me create one more variable which is it, and then I'm going to call this iter method, and I'm going to pass by my list object as an argument of this iter method. So now I have the iterator object of this list using this list iterator class. And now I can use the printed method pots. Let me call a printed method. And then I can call color, the next method, to iterate over the list using the either variable. So let's run this school once again, and you will see it's going to print the first value of the list, which is 1. Let's pretend it 2 more times, and let's run the code once again, and you can see it's going to give you the next 2 values of the list. So now we know that this next is going to call every time the next value from this list. So let's print all the values of the list using this next method. And you can see it prints all the values of this list. Now when I want to go beyond this after the list iterator is exhausted, and let's run the code, you will see it's going to give me this error. It says list index out of range. But this is not the problem of the iterator, it's the problem of the list. Now what I have shown you, and I've shown you the example of this list iterator, and in Python console, whenever your iterator is exhausted, it throws the top iteration arrow or exception. So let's raise the same kind of stop iteration exception using our class also. So I will go to the next method of my class, and here I can give a condition, and this condition checks whether the value of index self._a_index is greater than or equal to the length of your list. So length and the list name is self._a_list. And when this condition is true, we are going to raise an exception. So let's use the raise keyword, and the exception which we want to raise here is the top iteration exception. So let's throw this exception, or raise the exception. And what this condition is basically going to do is, until the last index, which is for example in this list the last index is 5, and until the last index everything will be okay. But as soon as this index becomes 6, which is the length of your list also, so the length of the list, which has 6 elements, is 6, but index will go up to 5, because then they start from 0. So as soon as this index becomes is equal to the length, which means the 8 return has been exhausted, you can also apply double equals to here as soon as the value of index becomes the length of the list. We can throw this exception. So let's run this code once again, and you can see we have used this next method 7 times. So at the last print statement, it's going to give us the error. So first of all, let me remove the last statement and let's run the code. And it's going to run fine. So you can see everything is fine. But as soon as I call this last next method, and I know that my trade is exhausted, and when I run the code once again, it's going to raise an exception, which is top iteration. Now one more thing which I said, which you can use, which your iterators is for. So let's try to use this for loop, and I'm going to just write for I in your iterate if it is it, which we have got using this idea our method. And let me comment this code also. And now I can print each and every element inside that list A. So I'm going to just write create I here, and let me remove this code from here. So you can see the list also, and this for loop also. And I'm going to run this code once again, and you can see this for loop has it created or our list which we have provided as an argument of this list it reads class, and you can see all the values inside the list have been printed using this form too. So in this way you can create your own iterator class in Python. I hope you have learned something new this time. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like the video, share the video, and subscribe the channel. Have a nice day. See you in next video.